are listening to the Scale with Speed podcast. Why? Because scale equals revenue and speed equals profit. Hosted by nine-figure business builders Matt Monero and Judge Graham. Enter with caution.
Enter with caution to the Scale with Speed podcast. I'm your host, Matt Monero, with my co-host, Judge Graham. Good to see you, buddy.
First episode
in the new studio here, which, you know, when you talk about business, probably the worst possible time to do a remodel in this office, right? We literally put the sledgehammer to the sheetrock like the day COVID broke. But we pushed through, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it looks so good, too.
Dude, anybody in Dallas, Texas, we want you to come through the commercial fleet offices here, and we'll make sure the Judge is here that day, too. And come and visit us, man. But the podcast is called Scale with Speed. It connects to Judge's book, Scale with Speed, but it connects us to the probably the most important topic that entrepreneurs and business owners face, dude. How do you move the business to the desired end game freaking fast?
Yeah.
And the beautiful part here about our exchange is Judge did it and I didn't do it. So you as the audience, you're getting two really clean perspectives of one guy who built a business and exited that business very fast with nothing but an end game and a mission for it. And I built a business to survive, and it just drug on and drug on and drug on for a long time. Now, we finally got there, but it just took too damn long, man. We didn't scale with speed here at Commercial Fleet, and you did.
Yeah, I think, you know, Matt, and some of the other businesses you're not involved in, it's like you don't have an appreciation of, one, what it takes, what the freaking effort, right? and then the understanding that strategic effort equals time compression, right? And that if you have a project, right, whether it's a marketing campaign or it's your new website, it's your new branding, and every day that goes by that it's not completed, dude, you're losing.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you know, the overarching theme, I think even for the podcast and then, you know, specifically what we're going to get into today is, dude, we want to teach people to create this strategic urgency. So they can go freaking win, dude, because people want to win. They want the momentum.
Yeah, which does bring us to today's topic. And Judge and I on the podcast will be picking a specific topic. Our podcast will be personal. We'll tell you stories from both sides of the fence, the good and the bad. But at the end of every podcast, we will give you a minimum of 5 tips. We're going to call them Monday moments, things that you can put into play in your office on Monday.
Right.
And every single podcast will leave you with a strategic action plan at the end. But to lead up to that, man, we want to tell you some real life stories, man, of what it looks like so that you can either prevent it from happening or you can relate to us when it is happening.
Right.
And you can pivot if you need to, dude, because we've been through it all.
Yeah.
Can I get an amen on that, brother?
Amen.
Dude, we have seen some shit.
Yeah, for sure.
We have seen some crazy shit in our business careers, and you are too. So today's topic is compressing time. How do you make this business go faster to get to the end game? And, you know, Judge, for those of you who don't know, Judge and I are involved in a business called Burn the Ships. We run 1.5-day boot camps. And what we continually see is business owners who have no idea what the end game is. So there's no requirement to compress time.
Right. You're in a boat and it's going in a circle.
Yeah, dude. I'm
Right.
in a lifestyle
Is there going to be a current today? I don't know.
I don't know. If you don't know it, guess what? Nobody else in the damn company knows it either.
Right.
And what you and I talk about so often offline is that business owners think that means you have to be an asshole. And the reality is everybody wants the expectation, dude. Tell us where you're driving the boat, boss.
Yeah.
Because I want to be on that boat, right? Or maybe I don't want to be on that boat.
Yeah.
But hell, tell me where we're going.
Yeah, and this idea of compressing time, you know, starting with one of those tips is, listen, time kills deals. Okay, so, you know, whatever example you want to use, but I hate the salesperson that gets on the phone and says, "Hey, boss, I had a great call. Freaking great call. Did you close?" No, it was a great call.
No, he sent him an email. He asked for an email.
He said that he was interested and that to call next week because more than likely he's going to do it. Dude, that's not a good call. Time kills deals, right? A good call is, tell me what you're not interested in and how can I fix it if he or she still pushes you off. When can we talk next week, Wednesday at noon, right? Like, just, you have to create the urgency.
Yeah, man. Time does kill deals. You buy something, and that salesperson on the other end doesn't get you the information you want in a timely fashion. Dude, for the real people that have money, they're going to go buy someplace else.
Yeah, or they're out.
They're out. They're just, they're going to make the, most people who are ready to buy have already done the research, and so they're ready to pull the trigger, you know? You got tire kickers and all that stuff too, but the people who got the money, they've already made the decision. Right. Your job is to give it to them quick. Yeah. Push the damn pen, sir.
I can tell you right now, I'm in the process of getting Jordan a new car. You know, my issue with the cars, I keep
trading them all the damn time.
So it's a guy that we've bought from frequently, so I like him, right? And he understands the pace that I want to move at.
Yeah.
But it's still too slow, right? So we found the vehicle. We like it. I don't like the wheels. It's a brand new model, so we're having to like source. Not that many people have manufactured the wheels. They're hard to find the wheels. And I'm like, dude, just give me the wheels. Like, what's the status? Where are we? How do we get it done?
Right? You getting a G-Wagon?
No, she it's too small for the kids. This is a GLS, the new GLS of Mercedes.
Gotcha.
But I want like really cool wheels on it because for me, wheels finish the car. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to send you some wheels. Like, I want them now. Yeah. Like, you want to close this sale?
Yeah. Tell me what's in stock, dude."
Well, I mean, but and I would say I'm the extreme of that. But back to this time kills deals. Tell me, hey, you're going to show me some wheel options. Set my expectation. It's going to be in 15 minutes. It's going to be 3 or 4 hours. If it's going to be 2 days, I've lost interest in the car because then I'm going to go find a different vehicle, right? And now again, I may be an extreme of that. But if people aren't thinking about that from a sales perspective, dude, you have a fish on the hook, right? Use a great example. You're out fishing, you get something on the hook, you don't go away, you catch the freaking fish.
Bring him in the boat. Time kills deals. The other thing time kills is progress and momentum.
Totally.
Right? I mean, dude, you should be winning multiple times a day, and you got to pick
and celebrating it.
That's right, and you got to pick what a win means, dude. And a win doesn't have to necessarily be what you were told it is, dude. A win can be, we didn't close a lot of deals today, but we made a lot of calls,
right?
Or we got a lot of quotes out. You got to pick what a win is, but you have to have wins. And when you don't have a culture that pushes the compression of time, you can't quantify the wins. It's just like you said I had a good call today, but that doesn't really qualify as a win.
Yeah. Well, let's use this podcast for example. Okay, I'm sure there's another 7 things we could have thought of to say, you know what, we're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's going to happen? And we've got 2 amazing guys in here that are
Z and Ramsey in the studio.
Z and Ramsey helping coordinating all of this. When we walked in, Matt and I had a couple of other ideas like, hey, what if we animated this thing behind us? What if we had Facebook Live going? Whatever. What would that have done if we wouldn't have done the podcast? Couple things. It would have taken these guys' morale and just dude, boss, we set up all this stuff. Like, what's the deal? And then 2, we wouldn't have accomplished something. Okay, so now coming out of this, everybody's going to be like, dude, we did the first one. Here's what was great. Here's what we're going to improve. And what did we do, Matt? Progress. Or most business owners want this idea of perfection, and they sacrifice progress because they think it has to be perfect. And dude, that kills momentum.
Yeah, so we were on the schedule for a 10 o'clock start.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I looked over at Judge this morning. I'm like,
we're ready.
Why do we got to go 10?
Yeah.
Let's go now. And by the way, it's 2 minutes to 10.
Yeah.
And we're already into the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So, you got to understand that time kills progress and momentum. Doing things slow is not an appropriate behavior in an organization. And let's just get straight about it, dude. This COVID thing is making so many people justify slow.
Right.
It's okay. Hey, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah. Well, and let's caveat because there'll be somebody who go, these guys are crazy, right? They're haphazardly, right? They're just moving too fast. Dude, you need to have a plan that is bulletproof, and then you need to move fast against that plan. And guess what? Your ass needs to build the plan fast now. When's the last time you carved out a half a day of uninterrupted focus to figure out your life and your business? Take a half a day and then just freaking execute fast.
Man. You know, I mean, the story we have here in this office is the amount of time that it took us to get to 36 million, and the amount, which was 18 years, and the amount of time it took us to get to 100 million, which was 18 months.
Yeah.
I mean, people need to understand that.
Let's repeat that. 18 years to 36 million.
Yeah, 18 months to grow to 100. Because we finally sat down and said, what the frick is the end game?
Right.
And how do we get there? What's the roadmap?
Right.
And that was, by the way, a 3-year strategic plan that was laid out, and we executed fully to 100 million in 18 months. That is compression of time. And by the way, here at Commercial Fleet, we're in a flat year-over-year scenario. Whether it's COVID, whether it's other things, it doesn't really matter. It just matters how you perceive that, and it frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah, and it should. But I mean, in fairness, and you and I aren't excuse people. I mean, COVID probably plays a little into that, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, man, there's a lot of people winning in COVID too, dude.
But yeah, it comes up to this next point, right? Time kills long-term income.
Yeah, dude. Everybody needs to understand that compound interest matters. I mean, if Ramsey, how old are you?
28.
You're 28. So if you started putting $500 a month away right now. And I waited till I was 38. I'm 51. But if I waited till I was 38 and I started putting $1,000 away, for the next 10 years, you would have more money than I would at $500 because of time and the power of compound interest. So you actually can invest less and make more over a longer period of time. People don't understand that. They think that there's always going to be a way to catch up. Dude, it's very hard to catch up. You need to start executing on your income now. Whether you want to put it in the market or you want to put it in an index fund, it doesn't matter. But you have to begin to allocate capital early so you can benefit from time.
Yeah, it gets back to, I mean, even another analogy. Like if you're in your business now and you're celebrating and you're happy with, small incremental year over year, that's a problem, right? Because if you compound that over 3 years and you consistently stay flat or incremental, what's the long-term effect of that on a sale or an exit or even distributions and everything? So it's just back to, dude, you've got to crank, you've got to create momentum in the organization. Everybody's got to be fired up and racing, right? I hate what's the saying, Matt? It's, hey, slow down, little Stevie. It's not a race, it's a marathon. Dude, that is bad advice. It is a freaking sprint the entire time. Get the endurance, get the right running shoes, and if you're in an organization that's in marathon mode, you're just it's a slow death.
Judge, your first company went from 0 to sale in 6 years, right?
First one I failed. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The very first one.
The second one. Yeah. I would say it was sub 600,000 in revenue to pretty big exit in less than 5 years. 5 years, 5.5 years.
Mm-hmm. And that you would adhere. You would give credit to that because of the urgency everything took on.
Everything mattered. Every detail mattered. And it lightning fast speed of decision making and against the plan and creating momentum and urgency, because what happens is when you have the right team and the right culture, and we talk about all this, and inherently you're pushing against the right objectives and you're creating, needed urgency, do people want to win?
Yeah.
Okay, like the difference between, and I'm a football guy, right? Because I played college football and I love football and my boys are playing football, is Nick Saban would be an amazing CEO. He's the CEO of football. Why are those guys so good? Dude, he's creating massive speed, urgency, execution, and then that momentum leads to wins. And guess what? Those wins lead to getting great recruits, and it all compounds.
College football is actually a better example than pro football. If you watch The Last Dance, right? I mean, the Bulls haven't done squat after they dismantled the team, right? But yet in college, every year you have to put a quality team together. You got guys that are transferring in, you got guys that are transferring out, you got injuries, you got all kinds of stuff that get in the way. You got COVID that gets in the way. But nevertheless, Saban keeps winning.
Yeah.
He knows how to compress time. We have to do these things every single time fast.
Yeah.
But look, you touched on this time kills culture, right? And we believe that compressing time means now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean compress time to write down that it's going to take 2 months to do it. No, it means do it now.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to achieve now?
Yeah.
And when we do that, some people will freak out.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
They're not going to like that. But that's the importance of the culture.
Yeah.
Dude, is speed part of your ecosystem?
Right.
And it is for everything you do.
Yeah, for me, for sure. And I think you're on that train now, too.
Well, I mean, I think I always was.
Yeah.
But then just in full transparency, I felt like in order to get a hold of myself and not be the dick that I was as a man, I had to back off just a little bit. And through that back off, we backed off on speed a little bit. And we're starting to creep back in.
Yeah.
And put that pressure on the organization again, because as I just said, we are facing a year-over-year flatness.
Right.
And I think a lot of that does have to do with speed. It doesn't have to do with culture or market opportunity or any of that, or management or any of that stuff. It just has to do with, I think we took our eye off, hey, can we do it today?
Right.
Like, I know we're going to do it, but how about we do it now?
Yeah. Well, let's, talk about that from a culture perspective. Dude, people want purpose. Look at me and listen to that. People want purpose and fulfillment. And so by having speed and going, no, we can just do it right now, it may create some angst and some chaos at first, but you get through it, and then everybody had purpose because you accomplished something. I mean, how many times, Matt, have you and I been on a call or a meeting with different team members and different companies we have or whatever, and said, hey, we need to get this done, right? Little Stevie, you would write this, this person would do that or whatever. And most leaders and organizations would then go, okay, tell me when you're going to have it. And then go work off in a silo. You and I are like, okay, well, this meeting was scheduled for an hour.
Yeah, but I'm the perfect pupil because I thought I moved fast until I met you. And then in our Burn the Ships venture, I quickly began to understand that my version of speed is different than yours. Like, hey, that sounds good. Okay, we're going to do that. Yeah, where are y'all going? Well, I think we're done for this. No, guys, we're going to start pushing out that content right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to write the copy now.
Now, yeah.
We're going to, should I call them? You say this all the time. Should I get them on the phone?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get them on the phone, right? Boom, 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 momentum.
And then it's done. And then back to this idea of purpose and having a culture, you've completed something, right? People want to win, and by forcing that momentum and that speed, you start winning, right? You start going, man, that feels good. I worked out. I whatever. You accomplished something.
I stole the basketball court idea. I've never seen an office with a basketball court in until I saw pictures of your office, and it had a basketball court in it. And I was like, okay, when we remodel this place, we're going to put a basketball court in it.
It looks great.
Thank you. But what didn't look good was the hoop.
Yeah.
Right? We have the court. I want to shoot hoops, and I specifically bought a dunking backboard because I wanted to run competitions in this office where our guys can dunk. I mean, freaking slam.
Yeah, I
right?
love it.
Here's the problem. The way they constructed the office, it's basically a non-structural wall that the backboard would go on.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And so the first handyman came in and he's like, I don't think I can make that work. So then we bring in the construction company and they're like, we got to reinforce the wall. It'll be like $8,000. We can't do the steel anymore. I was like, listen, I can't look at this freaking backboard on the floor anymore, right? It's making me freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Scratch the dunk idea. And I went to Cynthia, the facility manager, and I said, get the backboard up.
Yeah.
Guess what? That was, what's today? Thursday? That was Monday. Yesterday, she sends me a picture. She's so fired up. Backboard done.
Completed it.
Who feels good about that? She feels awesome about that.
Totally.
by applying speed, scratch the big picture, execute on it, get it done. Very small example that I'm giving, but maybe it's not. Because guess who went home that day and felt amazing? This is the mandate came down on Monday. She found the guy on Tuesday. Wednesday it got installed. She texted me the picture last night saying, done.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, I think part of that is some empowerment, right? And I want to touch back on, because I think, for the audience listening, you said something really important. It's sometimes you have to, not sometimes, I would say a lot. You have to pivot to understand where you are to win. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, if you're not thinking like chess, 6 or 7 moves ahead, dude, you've got to understand, in the grand scheme of things, being able to slam that, the chaos that it's causing, the extra 8,000, I just got to make a decision and pivot on that one to get on to move to other things, to move quickly, right?
So true.
And that's a small example, but that happens in everything, right?
But you know what else was beginning to happen? I guarantee it. Nobody said this to me, but they're like, "What the fuck's going on, man? How come we can't get that backboard up?"
Yeah, totally.
Our fucking company.
I was about to bust your balls on it. I was like up here, like,
what the hell?
A week and a half, and I'm like, dude, fucking goals on the ground. Like, it was, my OCD. I was about to, fuck, I'm gonna hang it up. Like.
But I think, to your point, man, we had to make a pivot. Some people might consider this a small example, but sometimes small examples can actually.
It's huge.
It's a perfect example of how the inability to apply speed infiltrates the organization. I guarantee you people were saying, maybe they weren't saying it out loud, but subconsciously they were going to say, this fucking company can't even put a backboard up on a damn wall. What's going on?
Totally. Dude, I want to hit on this next one. You put on here, and I love this one. Time doesn't heal wounds. Time makes wounds deeper. Dude, and that is so true, right? And that could be used in a multitude of things, right? I mean, if you're not addressing and having a fierce conversation, right, then people fester, and then they start to connect dots that don't make sense, and it just gets worse and worse. That's one example of how time doesn't heal wounds, right? I mean, you've got to address things in quickly.
Dude, how about in the family situation? Let's say you take a in-law, right? There's a beef with an in-law, and it doesn't get addressed.
And everybody knows it exists, but nobody wants to you think time's just going to figure it out.
So every birthday gets a little more complicated. Maybe they don't get invited. Well, if they don't get invited, then maybe I shouldn't go, because then it conflicts with that. And dude, time didn't heal that wound. Time made that wound deeper. And now you're not celebrating Thanksgivings anymore, and you broke the tradition. And Christmas,
you even know why the fuck you're not, right? Because at some point, because the spider web of that is you start connecting dots that don't even exist, and the other person is connecting the dots, and all of a sudden, it's like y'all fucking hate each other, and there was never a reason to.
One phone call that said, hey,
let's fix this.
Little bit of a challenge, fall on the sword, take it, and move on. But time does not heal wounds. I believe time makes them deeper. And if you relate it to business, it's everything we're talking about. Dude, you can recover from a fast, bad decision.
Yeah, but not a decision slow, right?
That prolonged.
I need to know right now, and I would rather deal with the open cut versus let it fester, get bigger, get infected. Let me know what's going on in the business.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, just one last exclamation point on that, because I get so crazy over this specific topic. Sooner or later, you should be good enough to fairly quickly connect enough dots and collect enough information to be able to make the decision. If that process isn't happening, you probably have the wrong people on the bus. You like to operate in our office, because we have credit requirements. We like to do a 90-10. If we make 90% of our decisions right, we can live with the 10 we make wrong.
Yeah.
You think it's 70-30.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's not 30-70, guys.
No.
You're not in the data collection business. You're in the decision-making business.
Yeah, you're in the momentum business, right? I think if you interviewed anybody that, has some level of financial success, they would attribute their ability to make decisions quickly and empower people to create momentum, and ultimately all of that ties back to what? Speed.
Yeah.
That's how it plays out.
First to market, minimal viable product, the MVP mindset matters.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to touch on, Matt. When you say speed, dude, it's organized speed, right? Anytime we're doing something together, whether we're updating, I love always doing website stuff. That's like my favorite thing to do, like our brand. But dude, when we go in to meet with our team, we're freaking organized. Time was put in because we understand the importance of, if you bring other bodies in, that it needs to get done fast. You need to have the copy. You need to have decisions. You need to pick your colors. You need to know those things, because therefore when you empower somebody and you've given them the direction, you've given them everything they need, it can get done fast.
You opened today's episode with this concept, and I sort of glossed right over it.
The Mike Tyson punch one?
No, one after that, right after that. There comes a point in time in your organization when you need to understand how much it costs you every time you turn the key to open the office.
Yeah, totally.
And a lot of people have no idea. And therefore, every time you turn that key and you're not having behaviors that help you pay for the cost of turning that key. Mm-hmm. Fixed expenses, lights go on, computers fire up, staff arrives, health insurance kicks in, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you need to understand that stuff. And the way you overcome that to the negative is you allow time. Mm-hmm. Dude, you overcome that to the positive, and you help getting return on your investment when you apply speed.
Totally. It's a great example.
People don't get that, dude. You should know how much
we
it
should
costs
get it when you look
you.
at the bank account. You should.
But dude, as a company begins to scale, Judge, the cost of turning that key becomes extreme. So when people are on vacation and people are leaving early, if you have 50 people in an organization, everyone starts busting out at 4 versus 5, dude, that gets inherently very expensive very fast.
Yep.
So, all right. Scale with Speed podcast is about giving you actionable tips. It's one of the things that I think Judge and I do extremely well, is that we are very tactical guys. We like A equals B to C to D, etc. It's what we teach at Burn the Ships Bootcamp. Guys want to learn more about it, go to burntheships.com. It's a 1.5-day bootcamp that we put on here in Dallas. It's killer. It's about 20 pivotal steps that get everybody from the intern all the way to the CEO totally aligned every day. It's $4,000. You can go to burntheships.com, click bootcamp to learn more about it. But the reason that we have to get our tactical piece out on this podcast is we told you we're going to give you 5 actionable tips at the end of every podcast. We call them Monday moments that you can put in play effectively immediately. If you're listening to it on a Sunday, dude, you can put this in on Monday. If you want to be crazy and compressed time and you're listening to it on a Thursday, put it in on Friday, dude. Go right ahead. But Judge, take the first one.
All right. Say this out loud with me. I hope you're like in the grocery store listening to this. Right? Where is my money? Come on, Matt. Where is my money? This is a concept that Matt and I came up with, but if you want to compress time, you need to be thinking about every single day, where's your money? What are the 6 to 8 things you're going to be able to do today to take action on now to generate revenue? Revenue pretty much fixes everything in a business. And if you're not compressing time, if you're looking at everything in a macro perspective and you're not getting micro on what are those 6 to 8 things I have to do today to generate revenue, right? Not a to-do list, the 6 to 7 to move the needle. We created some money sheet. For those that are on video, you can see this here. And if you go to Amazon, we have these up on Amazon.
Type in Judge Graham Money Sheet on Amazon.
Yeah, or just Money Sheet, it should pop up. But it literally is this beautiful moleskin type journal, and it talks you through how to use the Money Sheet. But you could use a piece of paper. The idea here is, what are the 6 to 7 things you're going to do today to generate revenue, right? Has to be micro task you can complete and you can track that ties it back to revenue. That's tip 1.
Yeah, the highest value activity that pays you.
Yeah.
Is what goes on the money sheet.
100%.
Okay, second Monday moment tip for this week's episode of Compressing Time. Create speed as a core value in your organization. Dude, just change it. Go tell everybody, hey, I'm adding a core value, or replace the one that nobody cares about with speed. We're going to do things fast. Well, what speed makes me crazy, boss. Yeah, I know. We'll work through all that stuff. But guess what? We're going to move faster now.
Well, that changes your interview process, right?
Totally.
How you work with vendors. Hey, I typically this is what we do, and that I need it turned around in 24 hours. Oh, my organization, we have a process, and it's about a week. okay, we're not a good fit, right? Next opportunity, right? You have to align it and you have to live it, right?
Yeah. This also how you know that too, though. I mean, we teach this in Burn the Ships is about the personality testing component. Dude, you need to understand what element of speed your people are naturally set up to handle versus set up to push back on.
Right.
It's a big deal. It's the
huge deal.
That's more of a chess versus a checkers move. We'll get into that in future podcasts. Let's go to 3, buddy. One of your faves.
All right. Build out your game plan now, right? So if you don't clearly understand what your goal is for the next 12 months, and then what are your quarterly actions on how to do it and who owns it, and there's dates next to it, how do you even know how to compress time? How do you know how to do your activities? So many business owners don't have a plan, and the plan needs to be very tactical. I want to make X. Here are the things I have to achieve in the next 90 days in order to get closer to doing that. Who owns them, and what's the date?
Yeah, and we can go a step further on game plan and even define it as end game plan. Most people in business will spend, and we've seen this countless times, even just this summer, where people will spend way more time calculating their vacation plans, right? This is we're going to have this for breakfast on Monday,
right,
and I'm putting it on the refrigerator, and then Monday afternoon we're going to go to the pool for a couple hours, and we're going to come back, take a nap, and then we're going to go. Dude, you're spending more time figuring out your 1 week in Florida than you are figuring out the fucking end game of your business.
So true.
People need to think about that for a second, man. And we work with successful business owners and Burn the Ships, and almost all of them have a crystal clear. They may have a version of an end game, but we're talking about a crystal clear end game.
What do you want? Do it. Why do you want it? When do you want it?
That's 3, man. I'm telling you, man, you do these first 3, you're kicking ass and taking names already. Take time this weekend right now to do this freaking end game. Hole up in a hotel room, cancel the date night, and figure out what it is you want from this damn thing called your business. All right, number 4. Focus massive attention on the biggest opportunities. We refer to them as the boulders. What needs to happen in the organization now, first, the biggest, to move the needle? Maybe you need a new piece of tech. Maybe you need a website revamp. Maybe you need 5 people in sales. Maybe you need to blow out somebody in the management team. Dude, what are the biggest things you need to be working on, and put all your energy on them now?
Yeah, most people don't want to work on those things, right? This is forcing you to go, here's the problem, and I got to go put effort on it. That's as simple as that. All right, number 5, set deadlines. Don't accept them being missed. This is a very key one, and this doesn't mean you have to be a dictator in it, right? You've got to create an organization of great people, and you have to get buy-in. And what I mean by that is that you can't do it now, and things need to be set to due dates. You need to make sure you have clear owners, and that you buy into that. Z, I asked Z earlier, I said, hey Z, when is this podcast going to be up?
Launch?
And he said sometime next week. So when this is over, I'm going to say, Z, but what time?
You know that's coming, Z.
What time next week will this be up?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be looking for a date. And then my next question to Z will be, okay, are you cool? You confirm that that's the date and everything. Now Z has told me he's bought into it. Now it's real. Okay, so now at that point, if that's missed, there better be a really damn good reason why, right? I mean, so there's an art to this, right?
Yeah, there is.
You got to have the right people. You have to empower them. You have to know when to push, not push. But the most important thing is, if a date has to be set, and once it's set, it can't be missed.
So there's a promotion that will have to occur to inform people of this podcast, which will begin to occur now because we know that it launches next week. So for the way you overcome the difficulty of setting the deadlines and make sure they're not missed is you remind everybody that if you miss your deadline, the domino doesn't fall.
Right.
Right? All the things that we're working on can't happen
unless everybody contributes.
And if it does happen, because we're all meeting our deadlines, but you miss all those things, how you do everything is how you do anything. Yeah. Whether you say one way or the other, it doesn't matter. The point is, if we're going to win, I got to have you deliver for me.
Yeah, totally.
I need it.
That's it.
All right.
Those are 5 good ones.
5 takeaways. We promise you, Judge and I, it's like an addict. We have to flush out the tactical element of the content.
You have to.
So those are your Monday moments for today on the first episode of Scale with Speed podcast. The topic is compressing time We are coming to you with care. We care about you to build your business the way Judge built his business, and in total transparency, to not build your business the way I built my business, which is the way the majority of people do it. We scale slowly. And that is actually the ability to have made up the time that I have is an anomaly. To do what you did in 5.5 years is an anomaly. What happens is something that we're not experiencing. It's this slow death that you just, the first 5 years kind of look like the second 5 years, which look like the third 5 years. And before you know, look, dude, my oldest is 18. It flew by. My oldest son. We even talked about this. I am amazed at how many people I'm now having conversations with. These are friends that, we grew up with, right? The boys grew up with. And now that the boys are gone off to college and I'm seeing the parents around, every single one of them is telling me the pressure they feel having to pay for college. And I'm saying to myself, what the fuck you been doing for the last 18 years? Did you not think that this day was coming?
Right.
And then I relate it to what we're doing at Burn the Ships. It's the same thing. Guys, did you think that without fundamental change and structure and tactical that the next 5 were going to be different than the last 5?
Yeah. And time, the only thing time does is it continues to I want to make sure I phrase this right. I mean, the longer time happens, the more mediocrity you accept.
And justify.
Right. And justify, right? So, if you wanted to be X here in your life, every day that goes by that you're not relentlessly moving fast on it and showing progress, 4 weeks go by, 6 months go by, and your expectation of greatness, you justify and start to settle, and then it just keeps getting worse. Your new norm of what you thought excellent was 6 months ago starts to look radically different in a year. And then in a year and 3 years, you just accept kind of it is what it is, and you're in a state of defeat. So we would encourage you, change now. You can do it.
You can do it.
Go compress time. Anything else?
Yeah, couple tidbits. If you like what we're talking about Burn the Ships, go to burntheships.com, click Bootcamp. The money sheet is on Amazon, so people can get it. Judge Graham, type in Judge Graham money sheet. You pop it up. It's $20.
Yep.
Both of our books, You Need More Money. Judge's books, my book, You Need More Money. Judge's book, Scale with Speed. Judge's book, Master Recurring Revenue. My book, The Grit. All of them are on Amazon. If you like what we're talking about, tell your friends and tune in, subscribe, and be part of the Scale with Speed movement, because we're here to help you.
See you on the other side.
See you down the road.
You are listening to the Scale with Speed podcast. Why? Because scale equals revenue and speed equals profit. Hosted by 9-figure business builders Matt Monero and Judge Graham. Enter with caution.